Hey there, everybody. I am Debbie Crowley from ExpressivelyDeb.com, and welcome. So today I have the October 2024 Customer Card Kit card tutorial, video card tutorial. So the two cards that were featured this month I designed them using these Sentimental Christmas Designer Series paper pack and the Sentimental Wishes bundle. So this actually is one of my favorite bundles. It's simple, but I did love the paper. I did so many projects with it, and I really do love it. I love the colors. I love the Poppy Parade and the Shaded Spruce color mix. So for the holidays, I think it's traditional and it's bright and traditional for the holidays. So both cards are actually, if you take a look at both cards, I've used different elements, but they are the same exact design. So what you can do, if you didn't get the card kit, you can use the card front as a sketch and fill in the blanks with your whatever favorite designer series paper you may have. And you can use this card layout for any occasion that you have. It's a quick and easy, and actually it's a fun card layout to put together. So let's get started. I think I'm going to I think most of you, those that watch every month, I think most of you know the drill by now. With the card kit, you get everything you need to create the cards as I've designed them. So you have everything here that you see in the kit. You get in the mail a printed PDF tutorial for both cards with all of the measurements, and then I send you a link via email along with the PDF tutorial and the written PDF tutorial and this video link. So let's get going. I think I'm going to start with the Poppy Parade. They're both the same, so as far as the skill level, there's no difference. And they're both quick and easy, simple cards to put together. So here's everything that's in the card kit. I will try to give you all of the dimensions as I go along, so that it would be easy for you to recreate the card. I think my camera is crooked. I'm just going to see if I can straighten this out a little bit. I've been playing with this, and it's when one side's crooked, the other side is straight, so I don't know. But I know when I go back to look at this, it's going to drive me crazy. Let's see. Okay. That should be okay. Okay. The card, sorry about that. The card base is 5.5 across, 8.5 inches in length, scored at 4.25 inches. I used Poppy Parade cardstock. I'm just going to burnish this, the score line. And this is a landscape version or horizontal version of an A2 card that you're used to, the size that you're used to. So that's the card base. Now, so we have two basic white cardstock layers. One is larger than the other. The larger layer is for the inside writing layer, so we can put that aside for now. The smaller layer is for the card front. This is the basic white matte layer. So the measurements on this are 3 3/4 inches across here by 5 inches. So, or 5 inches across, 3 3/4 inches down. So the pattern paper layer, the designer series paper layer, is 3 5/8 inches across. And what did I'm sorry, 4 7/8 inches across, 3 5/8 in length. So the basic white layer is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. The pattern paper layer is 4 7/8 inches by 3 5/8 of an inch. And we're just going to attach those two layers. Very quickly, I use multi-purpose glue. I did make a couple of cards using the Stampin' seal, but I got so used to positioning my layers with the glue that it really, believe it or not, when I started Way back when, I always used tape runner or Stampin' Seal or whatever product we were using at the time. And then I went over to glue, and it's difficult for me to go back because I do have that little maneuverability with the glue. But some people just use that Stampin' Seal like it's so easy. It is for them. It's what you're used to, really. Okay, so this layer, of course, goes on the card front. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Again, with some glue. Just get that on there. Center it so that it's about even on all sides. And that looks about right. Okay. And then we are going to use the first layer we're going to put down. Now, this is a shaded spruce cardstock layer, and it is 3 inches by 2. So it's 3 inches across by 2 inches in length. And I used my quarter rounder to round the corners of this layer. So that is going to go on the card front first. And I'm putting it so that it's down in the bottom right corner. And I have about the same distance on the right-hand side as I do on the bottom, but I'm going to bring it up just a little bit, up and over. There we go. It doesn't have to be exact, just similar distance on this right corner. Okay, and then we have a little bit of a, this is technically, I guess, this would be called a grounding layer because I'm going to ground the sentiment. And this is 1/2 inch by 3 inches. So 3 inches across, 1/2 inch in length. And I just snipped off the corner to give it a flagged edge. And I'm going to, I don't know what I did here. Let's put this aside because I have an easier way for you to do it. I'm going to put on the focal point layer, and then I'm going to tuck. I'm going to do a little tucking. So that's on with glue. Now you can do this 2 ways. You can put your a grounding layer and sentiment layer on, and then put the focal point layer, or you can place the focal point layer and tuck. I like to tuck because my focal point layer, to me, I want that set up a certain way. So I'm going to angle this. On the other one I didn't, but this one I'm going to angle just a little bit. And that's good. And oh, when I put the glue on this, it's only on the one side. I kind of left, I didn't go too far over the center so that we have room to tuck those, the sentiment layer and the grounding layer. Okay, so we could go like that with it. Maybe bring it over just a little bit. So that's on there. And then we're going to, the sentiment I took from the Sentimental Wishes stamp set. And I set this up in my stamp positioning tool because I wanted to remind you when you were putting, stamping the sentiment on, you do have this layer in the card kit. I think the layer's a little bit larger and you'll be able to cut it. I'll give you the dimensions in a minute on this. But make sure your sentiment is more to the left of the sentiment layer because this is the area here that we're going to tuck. Okay, I like to tuck. You may not like to. And I stamped this sentiment with Wild Wheat ink. So we'll just get that on there. And Okay, the dimensions of this is 1 inch by 3¼ inches. So 1 inch wide, 3¼ inches across the bottom, and you take your snips and you just flag the edge. What's in your kit is a rectangle, so you flag your edge. Okay, so now we're going to use the grounding layer. This is the Poppy Parade, the first layer that we went to. This is the 1/2 inch by, I think it was 3½. I'm sorry, 3. This is 1/2 inch by 3 inches. And we're going to tuck that under. We're going to come up about, maybe about 1/4 inch from the edge of the shaded spruce, as you can see here. And then we're just going to place that down, but we tucked it under, see? So we have a little bit of a space here, and you can judge it. And then this one is going to set right on top of that. So we're going to tuck it under, and we're going to leave, I have a little time to change the blade or clean my track, one or the other. Okay, so this is going to tuck under, and it's going to go as far as I can on this, but I'm going to take a little bit more off of this side. Just maybe about 1/8 inch, and you can do this so that this will, okay. So I took some off here because of the way I wanted it to fall on the front of the card, and you'll see that. Tuck it under up to the edge of the sentiment there, and there we go. That's about good. And leave about, maybe this is about 1/8 inch down at the bottom, and make sure it's straight. And that is that. The card front is finished. We'll put the little embellishment on, and I use these dots. I love these dots. I use them a lot. These are the 2023 to 2025 in color dots, and I use the wild wheat. But if you notice, I angled the little bouquet more than on the other one. I think this one is straighter on my sample, but this one I angled. So you could do what you want with it. I think that paper is so pretty, and I like this little bouquet. Okay, here's the writing layer, and of course we have our strip for the writing layer, and I know that you all know how to do this. Thin line of glue, and take the strip, it's in your kit, and just go across the bottom of the writing layer. And your sentiment, the strip is longer so that you can trim from the back and get a nice clean cut. I know you know that too. And then we're just going to attach this with some glue to the inside of the card. There we go. Okay, this is done. So, and you have your envelope, and you have the designer series paper for the envelope flap that matches. So this is the first card, and this is all complete. See how easy it is? So the second card is the shaded spruce, and this is the die cut. I think that is so cute. And here's the kit. So now we'll get to this. It's basically the same thing. Oh, I see I have to do a little trimming on the sentiment here, but that's okay. Okay, so we're going to get going with this card. And you have all of the pieces in your kit. You have the envelope. You have the designer series paper layer for the back of the envelope. The inside strip. And all of the card elements. Okay. So now this, same measurement as the first card. It is shaded spruce. card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. And I'm going to give this, although this was in the envelope, I'm still going to give it a score. Okay. And we're going to get, you do, in this kit as well, you have 2 pieces of the basic white. One is the larger layer, which goes on the inside writing layer. And then the other one is the smaller layer, which is going to be the card front matte layer. Okay, and we're going to get this on. Okay, so this striped, this is the designer series paper from the Sentimental Christmas designers. Look at that. How pretty is that? Okay, the writing layer, the matte layer is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And then the designer series paper layer is 4 7/8 of an inch by 3 5/8 of an inch. So the stripe layer goes on to the matte layer. And then this gets glued on to the card front. And you center it. That looks about right. Okay. And then we'll work on the element cluster. So in contrast to the first one, I just reversed the colors, as you can see. So this layer is the same. It's 2 inches by 3 inches. This is Poppy Parade cardstock, and I rounded the corners. So this is going to go on the card front first, and this is going to kind of the same way, you know, maybe 1/4 of an inch. In the bottom right corner. And then what I did was let me lift this a little bit. I went too low on the bottom of this one. So this goes up a little bit higher. So there's a little more space on the bottom of this Poppy Parade layer when you're placing it down. Okay. So that'll go on the layer like that. And then this I die cut using the Spotlight on Nature dies. And this one, I don't remember what the dimension was on this. Let's see if I can give it to you. This one measures, it's about 2 3/4 inches in diameter, this circle. So if you don't have the Spotlight on Nature dies, you can just use a die that is about a 3 and what did I say? I forgot what I said already. Let me see. Hang on a minute. This is 2 3/4 inches. Okay, and then this gets glued on top of the red, the Poppy Parade layer. And just gluing it on. Did I glue this? Yeah. This gets glued. Just like that. And then we're going to, this Christmas stocking I die cut. This came directly from the Sentimental Christmas Designer Series paper. There's a piece of paper, there's a sheet in there that you can die cut using the dies. You can die cut the stocking directly from the paper, which I think is so nice. And I've die cut almost all of them. Okay, because they're so pretty. Okay, the stocking is on with dimensionals. Now, what I'm doing is I'm keeping in mind, because we're going to do a little tucking again, right? So I'm keeping in mind that I'm putting my dimensionals on the back right side of the Christmas stocking. And we'll get that on there. Just so that we have this little space underneath to tuck. So now we have a little space on this side of the circle that we're going to tuck the Sentiment grounding layer and sentiment layer on it. Now here's the grounding layer. It's the same size as the other one. It is 1/2 of an inch by 3 inches. And then I'm just going to just give a little flag cut on the edge, and that's going to go under the Christmas stocking right about there. And we'll leave that for now because I did not cut the sentiment strip on this. So this is how the sentiment strip will come in your card kit. And that's probably why I didn't cut it. So I left it so that you can use, you can be a little more flexible with your sentiment. You don't have to do something that's thinner. You can use a little thicker of a sentiment, or you can use your own sentiment, or you can stamp a small sentiment here onto the white circle. So there's a couple of things. And I'm going to use my paper trimmer. And I'm going to cut this, maybe about 1/2 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch beyond the S in Christmas. About 1/4 of an inch. And then, but it's going to depend. It's hard for me to give you dimensions because it's really going to depend on how you place your sentiment and what sentiment you use. Now this is 1/2 of an inch that I cut this. Oh, I could have trimmed it. Let me trim the bottom because I think it's up a little too high on this. So this is what I do with my sentiments. I'll use my larger scissor and just give it a trim. So it's a smidgen less than 1/2 of an inch. And then I'm going to do the same thing here as I did. I'm going to use my snips and just flag the left side of the banner of the sentiment strip. So you have that. Now we're ready to put sentiment on. So this shaded spruce. I hope that sentiment makes sense to you, how I did that, but I left a larger piece in there really for your benefit so that you can, you'll have a little bit of a choice with using your sentiment, which sentiment to use and the size of the sentiment. Okay, this banner I just put on straight. I tucked the edge under the stocking, and then the sentiment is going to go on top of it, just as we did the other one. And we're going to tuck the edge. I think I put a lot of glue on this, wait a minute. Now, I don't have my silicone mat handy, but I put a lot of glue on this, so I'm just taking it off with a scrap. And then we'll put that over here for now. Okay, and then this will get tucked under this portion of the Christmas stocking. And you can set it in however you want. I think I'm going to bring it up a little higher. Now, it would be fine the way it is, but I'm going to cut this edge just a little bit. I'm a little shorter. And when you're setting your sentiment in, whichever sentiment you decide to use, this sentiment actually is the large Merry Christmas sentiment from the Reindeer Fun stamp set. And I really like this. The font on this is so pretty. See the little lines on the R and the S? It's pretty. Okay, I'm going to bring it out just a little bit. And that's it. So card front is finished. And I just want to close up my glue. And we're going to use the same embellishment, the 2023 to 2025 in color. And this is, I'm using the large wild wheat dot. And we'll put that right there. Oh, by the way, this stamp was stamped with wild wheat ink. So simple, quick, easy. I think it's a great layout, great card design layout. And you can really do a lot with this one. And then you have the writing layer for the inside, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to get the strip on that. It's good to do your inside writing layers when you're making your card. I've done a bunch of cards where I said, oh, I'll put the layers in, and then I need a card, and I see that it doesn't have a writing layer, so it's good to do it all at once. Okay, there we go. And then you can add whatever sentiment you want to the inside. But that's this card. So these were 2, and then you have your envelope for this as well with the designer series paper. So here are the 2 cards that I did for the October card kit. Quick, simple, easy. I really do love this card layout, so take note of it. You can use it for just about anything, what stamps and dies you might have in designer. And it shows off the designer series paper beautifully. If you want to really have your paper stand out, it really does. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll respond right away. And I wish you a great rest of day. And as always, remember to express your creativity, and the only limitation is your imagination. We'll see you next time.